We are in a frontline city in Ukraine that is currently being attacked, strikes, drones, and I opened up the internet for the first time in a couple days to see my president, technically, Trump, saying this about the very people that we've been talking to for the last couple of days who are dying and risking their life for this country. Listen to what Trump just said.
Now, I have to also see, because not everybody, Zelenskyy is not exactly innocent either, okay? It takes two people to tango, and I say it all the time. You got to get them together. I get along with Zelenskyy now, but we have a much different relationship because now we're not paying any money to Ukraine. Stop that. We're paying money to ourselves. What's happening is NATO is buying all of the equipment and paying in full.
Okay, so there's more, but...
Well, this is just insane because it's just Trump blaming Zelenskyy for not giving up this land you're sitting in right now. This is the Donbass, this is Donetsk, which is massive, and Ukrainians have held this for years, since 2014, for hundreds of years. And Trump is annoyed that all the soldiers we've met in the last couple of days here don't just drop their weapons and disappear and let Russia steamroll in, take this house, take this city, as if Ukraine is to blame for not just dropping their weapons.
Yeah. And we, it's going to be very difficult not to get emotional here, but having this cat, who is a frontline cat, literally, it's just popped up somewhere.
She was born in here, in the front line.
And now a soldier is keeping her. Hello. Or him.
Him.
But it's going to be difficult not to get so wrapped up about this because everyone talks about it, especially in the United States, like this just game almost, like a sports game. That's how Trump talks about it.
Well, because to him it is a game, because Trump doesn't know what this is. He doesn't know what the Donbass even looks like. He doesn't know anyone from here. Yeah. To him it's like an abstract piece on a chessboard.
It's just a real estate transaction. But then you talk to people, every single one of those soldiers knows someone who's been massacred. Tons of these civilians, the same thing. All understanding that the next building that Russia randomly strikes could be theirs.
And they fought for this land for so long, and the idea that they should drop their weapons because Trump has asked them to, because Putin has asked them to, will have been for what? All of them have lost brothers, sisters, uncles, not just in strikes, but their comrades, for nothing, basically.
Well, and we asked, maybe we'll plug it in here, but we asked soldiers about that, and they said what I think thoughtful people around the world have been warning, which is you can make some sort of land swap, they call it, but concession deal. All that means is Russia will regenerate and re-invade.
Yeah, we see this before. The Russians are coming closer to this town every single day. And as soon as they get right to the edge of this Donbass, and we went through that, it takes about an hour to get there. Yesterday we were right at the border. They're just going to reamass their army. They're going to use this train track, all the train stations around here, to bring more tanks in. And then they're just going to keep on pushing all the way to Kyiv.
Yes.
And everybody knows that here.
Putin's been saying that his entire life.
Yeah.
In terms of his belief about Ukraine. It's sickening. Okay, here's more from Trump.
With war, you never know, right? War's very tricky, very horrible. But with war, you never know. Things change. People go into war, think they're going to win the war, and then they get their asses kicked. And they lose their country, and they lose millions of lives. Nobody goes into a war thinking they're going to lose. They go in. I'm sure that Ukraine thought they were going to win. It's going to be, we're going to win. You're going to beat somebody that's 15 times your size. Biden shouldn't have let that happen. Biden shouldn't have. I mean, the man was grossly incompetent. He should have never been there. That would have never happened. But you don't go into a war that's 15 times your size.
Which is insane, because he's saying Ukraine shouldn't have gone into this war knowing that they were going to lose. Russia thought they would take this country in 3 days. They thought they would take Kyiv in 3 days. And they have less land now than they did then. So Russia are actually the country that started a war that they couldn't win, because they still have less land. But apparently it's Ukraine for fighting back.
Well, and he says this, it takes two to tango. They shouldn't have gotten involved in a war with someone larger. I'm genuinely curious what they even think they're saying. Do they understand it literally does not take two to tango whenever someone attacks you?
No, but
you didn't start it at all.
I think they just read stuff that comes out of the Kremlin, and that's what Putin says. He wants to make it seem like this is like two brothers having like a squabble, and there's two sides to it, and we shouldn't really get involved. That's what Putin basically says to Trump behind closed doors. So Trump goes, well, these two guys, they're just at each other, they hate each other, we don't know why, they just need to go and settle it out. He doesn't see it as an aggressor and a victim. He doesn't, if he spent 5 minutes here and he heard all the explosions we've been hearing all day, they're not coming from Ukrainians, they're coming from the Russians, who are the aggressors. But he just doesn't give a shit because it's coming from Trump and Putin, and Putin's all he's listening to,
Maybe so, yeah. And then you actually posed this question to numerous soldiers and said, sometimes you'll hear like Kremlin talking points in American media about this is Zelensky's war. And I think every time the soldier would go, well, like you would say it, the translator would, once they got to that part in the question, the soldier would laugh and say, we're not fighting because Biden was weak or because, Zelensky has some war fetish. We're fighting because we understand that this is life or death for our country, our families, our freedom. And for Americans not to understand the meaning of defending freedom is tragic. One other clip that you saw, this is Trump's Ukraine envoy.
Who's more responsible for keeping this war going, Russia or Ukraine?
This is a different situation here. We've got these are two tough sides here. And you heard the president say that he's disappointed in Russia in some respects, and he's also disappointed in the Ukrainians in some respects. But I would point this out to you. No one has done more, and I'm talking about in the last 8 months.
And then he goes on to the Trump glazing. I don't think people can exactly comprehend the emotion of, I don't know, this is going to get just too intense, but to be sitting experiencing the reality of something and then to listen to people, sort of like the ivory tower person, comfortably pontificating just because it's in his political interest to do this weird double sides, or both sides is hing. Sorry, I'm really tired. And just to wonder, does he even understand at all what he's talking about? It's not like a difference of opinion. I think he doesn't even know what he's talking about. I think him being Witkoff was the one presented with that Trump portrait. I think he is a little child that got won over by stuff like that. Yeah.
And if they really cared about any of this, about peace, they would have visited this region as well, which they'll never ever do. But it's why it's good that you did. It's why you asked these questions as well, because all of these conversations are about the people that live in these towns. And they feel like they don't even know what's going on, but they would be horrified if they heard what politicians in the US were saying about them, because they love America. The soldiers we spoke to love the United States and freedom. And if they saw US politicians speaking about them, wanting to drop their weapons like that, I don't know what they'd think. So it's ridiculous. And then the last thing, Trump, since he took office, there were 150 drone attacks on this country every day. And now it's averaging 700 a day. So the peace that Trump thinks he's bringing to Ukraine, it's gotten extremely worse since he's taken office. So, I mean, these clips are just outrageous. If we can find a couple soldiers before we go, or other people who live here, we should show them those clips.
Yeah. All right. The cat Zelenskyy said something. What? What's that? Oh, okay. If you want to keep following this work, you can subscribe to his social accounts. Caolan Reports. YouTube, Instagram. TikTok.
Just type it in wherever.
And then, obviously, if you're watching this, you have my channel, but you can subscribe. Thank you. I mean, you didn't have to do that plug, Zelenskyy, but whatever. Gosh, he's attacking me.